The color scheme is very important, yeah. I've got like, maybe like 30 different masks, and they're all different colors, and some of them are, you know, made by other people. Most of them are made by me by hand. It's very important, you know. I imagine it's like wigs for drag queens or Dolly Parton. Howdy, this is Orville Peck, and these are my top 5 fashion moments in country music. Yeehaw. Okay, so these are in no particular order, but my first favorite country music fashion moment would have to be Gram Parsons Nudie suits, particularly his very famous Flying Burrito Brothers nudie suit where he had, you know, weed leaves and poppies, like opium poppies on it. Especially for the time period, obviously nudie suits were super cool, like bedazzled, eccentric, and these men of country music would wear these rhinestoned outfits, and his was particularly cool because there was kind of the edgy aspect to it as well. You know, Gram Parsons was kind of a hip guy. He kind of incorporated a freedom from the times, you know, obviously with like weed and drugs and the kind of hippie feel to it, which kind of brought the, you know, kind of like the cosmic cowboy feel. So it was a pretty big moment culturally and fashion-wise. My next favorite moment for country fashion would probably be, well, it's Dolly Parton, and you know, honestly, it was we could probably have this whole list be Dolly Parton because she's worn so many incredible things. But my absolute favorite Dolly Parton look is what she's wearing on the cover of Here You Come Again. Even though it's not her kind of glitziest look or her most glamorous look, I think it's kind of quintessential Dolly Parton. You know, she's got her big hair, she loved her wigs. She's wearing some high-rise jeans, and she's looking really cute and kind of like country disco. It's really simple, but I think it's kind of quintessential Dolly. She got kind of a hard time for wearing like these crazy outfits and wigs and all of these things we associate with Dolly Parton. It wasn't always well received for her, and she kind of got a lot of like flack for it. And you know, I remember she did an interview where she said, you know, people might think I look ridiculous, but you know, I just think that show business is a big joke, and I've always loved telling jokes, so I wanted to, you know, I wanted to wear these larger-than-life outfits and get people's attention, and then after they got the attention, they'd see that I had talent. So I kind of, you know, I love that outlook on it and respect it so much, and that's, you know, very much that spirit of performative theatrical country is very much what inspires a lot of the looks I wear and a lot of what I do. My next favorite fashion moment in country music is of course got to be Shania Twain's leopard print in That Don't Impress Me Much music video. I think that was a big moment worldwide culturally, especially for, you know, especially for anyone in the LGBTQ community. I feel like it was like a big you know, like a big awakening. At least it was for me. It's just an iconic look. She'll forever be kind of associated with leopard print, which I think is so cool as a country artist. You know, it's kind of seems maybe not typical, but I think the really fascinating thing that I found out about Shania is, you know, she made pretty much all of her outfits herself, and she was very much in charge of her own personal style, and she really took the reins on that, and I think that's just super cool because it, you know, she's got so many kind of iconic looks, but that's got to be the best one. I mean, Shania and I might have shot something for Legends Never Die. I'm not going to give away too much, but I'll say that I hope it's another kind of nod to some Shania iconography. My fourth favorite fashion moment for country music has got to be Tim McGraw's legendary black hat that he always wears. People might not know, but there's a very particular kind of style to cowboy hats, like the color, the make, the shape of the sides, and the way that it's styled. And you know, if you look at Tim McGraw, he's got a very specific black kind of straw-looking hat that's like a very like steep angle to it. And I've always just thought it was so fascinating. I mean, I kind of love that Tim McGraw and Faith Hill, they both kind of brought this era of country fashion from the 90s that was like a white t-shirt and like blue jeans and just something simple. And you know, that's it's kind of an underrated look in country, if you ask me. My last favorite country music fashion moment would have to be Lil Nas X at the Grammys in his custom Versace. You know, I was there with him too, and I was wearing a custom Dior, and I looked pretty good, but I think he looked a little bit better than me, so he can have that one. But there's a pretty good picture of me, him, Billy Ray Cyrus and Diplo, and it's like, we joke it's like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and everyone looks amazing.